Hi guys, welcome to Mike United. I'm Mike. 4-1 pre-season game against Melbourne victory doesn't kind of tell the tale if you only look at the score. I think they were a little better than we expected maybe. I thought a lot of the kids would get a run out and it would be a fairly straightforward game. They seemed a little bit more organised and well drilled than maybe we were defensively. They were pretty good. They were at a pretty good standard, especially in that first half. And they obviously scored after kind of 5 minutes. United had all of the ball, couldn't break down their low block, almost playing 5-6 at the back. Melbourne victory were. They hit us on a counter that was just way too easy to get past Maguire, Lindelof. We also started with Shaw and Dalot, I believe it was, as our fullbacks. So, pretty much our starting back four, that's depending on Varane and obviously Martinez who's coming in. I kind of expect Maguire, Lindelof to be our starting centre-backs. First game of the season. They got through way too easy. It was a poor first half, I would say. Bruno had a couple of decent balls. He doesn't seem to be trying quite as many Hollywood passes as he used to, which is it's a good thing. It's more economical. It might be less exciting, but it will mean less possession turnovers. Martial looked fairly quiet and disinterested for the first 15-20 minutes. Started to liven up towards the end of the half. There wasn't really any big key points from the first half, certainly not positives. Negatives were, and I don't want to just jump on the bandwagon and say McFred, but they both were quite poor in front of the defence. Shows the reason we really need a central midfielder. Going forward, McTominay was a little bit better, a little bit more industrious. He was kind of throwing tackles in, and while he was losing the ball, he was winning it back. That's kind of how his goal came about. There was a huge deflection, but I believe he actually had 3 deflected shots, and all 3 of them, obviously one went in, the other 2 went just wide or over. So you can say it's a happy accident, but it's a risk he took, and he got that reward in the goal. Elanga was quite poor, I would say again. After the Liverpool game, he's a player I really like, so it's disappointing to see. At one point, you could hear Ten Hag actually screaming, "Anthony, run!" He was telling him to make that run, stretch the defence, occupy the fullback. And there was just too many times where Elanga maybe didn't make the run that he could with the pace that he had. A couple of possession turnovers where we could have countered, and Elanga just wasn't quick enough to turn and run. Whether he's carrying a little niggle, a little injury, and he didn't want to strain himself too much, possibly. As I say about Martial, he livened up towards the end. He holds up the ball very well for a player of his size. He's not particularly big, or you wouldn't say he's strong, but with his back to goal, he does quite well. Great control for his goal, good positioning. And the ball came to him quite quick. It nicked Elanga on the way through, so there was a change of direction. Took the ball down well, finished well. It's a sign a lot of fans will say that the team plays bad and still wins. That first half we didn't play particularly well, and we still went in 2-1 up, which is a good sign. The opposition obviously isn't the likes of Real Madrid or Man City, but we didn't play particularly well. We had a lot of possession, we didn't create a lot of chances, and we went in 2-1 up. It's a positive. Second half saw 10 changes. Heaton was the only player that remained, who played the whole game. Second half I was happy to see Ethan Laird come on. Again in central defence was Eric Bailly and Alex Telles. Left back Malacia, who did well. Nothing great, but he did well. For his second game, he must be nervous, he must be adapting, but he did well. Telles in central defence, not too sure. Obviously, I know Varane was out injured, and our only other option was young Will Fish. Maybe Ten Hag sees something there of him playing central defence. Maybe he will be a kind of makeshift left back central defender. Maybe it is just getting an experienced player playing that position that isn't too alien to him before he leaves the club. Who knows? Perhaps Ten Hag wants to play a kind of three at the back system, similar to how Southgate does with England, in having a fullback as a centre back, as Kyle Walker does for England. It adds that little bit of speed, a little bit of cover at left back if the left back is too far up the field. Obviously, it's right back for England. I'm not too sure. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Tellez, nothing special. Better in possession than out of it. Eric Bailly, he does a madness every time he plays. There were two mistakes that he made that against better opposition would lead to at least a chance, if not a goal. But to counter that, he was everywhere again. Making blocks, making tackles, cutting out through balls when a counter attack was attempted. He seemed to be everywhere. And it was actually Bailly who got the ball, ran past the player, similar to how he did against Thiago the other day against Liverpool, and actually played a wonderful ball through for Rashford to score his goal. And I must say, Rashford did better than I thought he would, playing as the sole striker in that second half. Don't get me wrong, it was Melbourne victory, no disrespect, they're not a top team, so Rashford as a sole striker I think will struggle against better teams. But he did better than I thought he would. Not only his goal, he also had 3 chances I can remember inside the box that could have been goals. Half chances if that. And he had a long range shot as well, which was very close. Especially for the distance he was out, he did well to get it as close as he did. Other than that, the players that kind of stood out for me was Zidane Iqbal. He just seemed unreal. He seems so happy with the ball at his feet, so confident, so content. At one point, for around about 15 minutes, everything was going through Savage, Iqbal, Tahith Chong, and Ethan Laird on that right hand side, and it was great to see. 4 academy graduates. Laird was solid, if unspectacular. Chong was good, but a little bit wasteful. Until right at the very end, when he got past his man, wicked cross into the box, and it led to an own goal. It was all Chong's making, nobody else. And Iqbal, as I said, was just terrific on the ball. Savage, not as much as Iqbal, but every time he got the ball, he recycled possession nicely. A couple of nice passes, a couple of nice touches. On the opposite side, Ahmad came on and played on the left. He did okay, nothing great. A couple of times he got past his man and maybe struggled with the end product, getting a cross in. He looks a little bit alien on the left side, which is a good thing. We want him to play right wing in the coming season if he doesn't go out on loan. Chong is a bit of a difficult one. Is he going to stay? He's only got a year left on his contract, and even that was a renewal made by the club. It wasn't. His contract was meant to be running out. We had an option for another year and triggered it. Most people thought he would be one of the first names out of the club. That he's a decent player, he's just not quite good enough for Man United. A lot of people thought with the deals we were doing with Ajax and a couple of other Dutch clubs, we were looking at their players, that Chong might be a make-weight. But the way he played today, could he be a rotation option for us? I'm not so sure. He's a little bit further along than Ahmad and Palestra. He's obviously got a few more games, had a few decent loans. Did well at Birmingham last year, they absolutely loved him. But is that his level? It's yet to be seen what will happen. All in all, it was a decent game to watch, a little bit bitty, a little bit slow. That is one thing with the second half. We did move the ball a lot quicker, a lot better with the ball. So on to the next, which is, as I said yesterday, maybe it's Palace that we play next, again in Melbourne, so we won't have to travel for that game. Then we've got Villa on Saturday, Sunday. We have Villa, which is in Perth, so there will be a travel for that. But I'm looking forward to these games. Hopefully, Garner does feature. He wasn't available again today. Garnacho didn't get on the pitch, as didn't Hannibal, which was a little bit disappointing. Donny did play the whole second half, number 10. He did nothing special. Got the ball, a couple of 1-2s here and there, kind of in and around the box. I'm not sure where his position is going to be coming into the new season. I think he might be the rotation and backup to Bruno, from looking at Ten Hag's comments about him being behind the strikers, number 10. And Eriksen will be kind of other positions, whether that's a more advanced central midfielder or on one of the wings as a wide playmaker. It's yet to be seen. As I said, on to the next. Hopefully we see Martial keep scoring. Rashford doing well. He's had 2 decent halves with the Liverpool and the Melbourne victory game. And we see a couple more youngsters come on and do well. Iqbal and Savage are obviously the story of the friendlies so far. They've done really well for their age, for their inexperience at senior level. Before I get too carried away with how they're doing, could it be a case that we just don't have other central midfield options that could play ahead of them? Which I don't want to be too much of a Debbie Downer, but that is the sad case, that we don't really have central midfield options to play these friendlies, and these players have stepped in. But all you can do is take your chances when they're given and play well, and that's what they've done. So who knows if they could be playing a part next season. Remember a few years ago, Rashford made his debut, and the sole reason was that Martial got injured, and Will Keane was meant to play. He was injured, so Rashford was given a chance, and he took his opportunity, and look what happened since. So could that be the same for Zidane Iqbal, who's done very, very well? Could it be the same for Charlie Savage, who's done well? Not quite as well as Zidane, but he's done decently. So let's see what the starting lineup is for the game on Tuesday. Thanks for watching. Again, any comments, any discussion, please don't forget to subscribe if you are enjoying the videos. Thank you very much, and I will see you tomorrow. Will probably be the next video if there's any news on our incomings, outgoings. Obviously, we've got the kit launch for the white away kit tomorrow with Brian Robson and Andy Cole. I'm thinking that Eriksen and Martinez will be announced in those kits. So we'll see what happens. Thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow.